What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Z-FLO. At it again. This video here is not going to be your stereotypical, oh, and the next people song is coming out kind of video. Although I'm still aiming to release the Democrat song by Friday. So there's that. We'll see if I can get it out in time. But this one is more of a opening of the heart / opening to the audience of why I do what I do. Why do I make this content? And this one is not going to be your stereotypical BS kind of like, this is what I'm going to say as a PR kind of thing. This is really me being transparent about the real reason that I am the way I am, both in person and in my content. Also, not crying. It's raining outside. Although, if I do start crying, it is what it is. But I had to deal with a lot of pain in my childhood, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Dealing with pain, and the way we respond to that pain differs based on where you come from, your environment, your peers, etc. And as a guy, as a man, we're stereotypically taught in a society that, feelings are weak. We're taught and trained to not show emotion. We're taught and trained to put that shit under wraps. I'm going to try to limit my cursing because I really want kids to hear this too. But we're taught in society as men that we can't express feelings. Thus, being emotional creatures that actually have feelings, what we're actually doing is bottling them up and putting them aside. And I know that's what I've been doing my entire life, is bottling up feelings and pretending like they don't exist. What we were permitted to do was replace that feeling with something positive. Replace it with a smile, replace it with happiness, replace it with laughter, replace it with humor. So I've never learned how to deal with tragic situations. When a family member dies, a couple days later, I have maybe 2 or 3 jokes in mind about like something as a way to look at the bright side or laugh it off, and this is complicated for me as an adult because when I have a friend who has a family member die, I don't know how to console them. I don't know how to be there for them or make them feel better, because not that I need to make them feel better, but that's what I was trained to do as a guy for myself, make myself feel better immediately because I'm not allowed to show emotions. So as a guy, all I've done my entire life, majority of my life, I've been able to sympathize with certain situations that I don't tolerate, such as domestic violence, abusing children. I just don't tolerate that. That I can express my feelings on because we've been permitted to do that. But when it comes to anything that bothers me or annoys me or picks at my skin, instead of calling people out, I have another joke back that I could throw at them because that was the environment I was raised in. And so all of my content, if you pay really close attention to the lyrics, not so much the stereotype songs, but the other songs especially, you will see that every last one of those songs is a way of me passive aggressively expressing an emotion about something that was going on in my life. When I wrote I'm All Right, I was so depressed in 2015, at being so talented and having no money to show for it, that I decided, I felt like it was my first time expressing my feelings in a song. My first time ever when I wrote I'm All Right with Marcus the Poet. And it was my first time expressing feelings, and I couldn't even do it through the full song. I could only do it through the second verse. That's when I really talked about how the 9-to-5 system screws us over, and how nobody wants to hire me and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. I really came out with it. Then there's another song called Different, that I wrote, which if you look at it, there's actually It's actually a funny song. Well, it looks like a funny song from the outside. But if you look between the lyrics, you will see there's me taking shots at people who upset me inside. There's me, like in the second verse, I said, "Your husband's jealous. Fuck it, open the curtains. Uh, look like I give a fuck on the surface." In reality, the pain I was really feeling was I actually was upset that he thought I would do something with his woman that was purely just a friend. And as a passive aggressive way of not showing the weakness, me showing that I'm weaker than him, I expressed that I don't care on the surface. But in reality, I don't like um, upsetting people's situations. I don't like ruining people's happiness. Um, that to me is very distasteful. It actually hurts my feelings. Um, but yeah, in between the lyrics of all my songs, Brick Wall was me criticizing society as a whole. And I know that turned out to be a lot of y'all's favorite. But Brick Wall was me pointing out the things that are wrong in society um, as a whole and how we have to chase money to the day we die. Chasing money is all we do. And now with this inflation thing going on, with how rapid inflation is, no matter which job you get, your wage is decreased by, a quarter to a third every single year at this rate. Like in terms of buying power, like, yeah, you can pay the same amount of money, but in terms of how much you're able to buy, you're just struggling more and more every year. You need a big raise every year to survive this economy right now. So with that being said, getting back to the point, because I'm ADD, so I get off topic, but music for me has been a way of me expressing feelings. There were some times where I was a little more transparent, such as things I never said. When I wrote things I never said, I actually talked about being betrayed by friends, and that one I was really proud of because I actually opened up. A lot of people, it didn't get a lot of views, but I don't care. Like, it made me feel better to open up, and that's what I'm realizing. Is by not opening up our feelings, guys especially, because women, y'all don't have this problem as much as we do. Y'all are trained to express emotions. You're trained to be able to. This is why women are so emotionally more intelligent than men. Is because women aren't trained to hide that shit or block it in or keep it enclosed. But men, we're trained to, and it's not good training, but we're trained to literally just minimize the problem, minimize, make it as small as possible. While women are able to express it to the full amount, they're able to make it as big as possible. And that's why a lot of relationships don't end up working out, because the guy is trying to make it smaller and the woman's trying to make the problem bigger, and it turns into this big cluster of not understanding each other. And after a series of years of doing that, you end up, if you're not strong enough of a couple to go get like therapy and training and communication training, end up separating. So um, I'm learning as a guy that, and as an influencer, that my purpose here on this earth is not just to entertain you guys. There are people out there that are just like me, who have dealt with many different childhood traumas, pains in your childhood, etc. And you're left by your freaking self, trying not to curse because I want kids to see this. You're left by yourself to deal with it. You have to deal with it yourself. And even if you want somebody to help, you can't express it to anybody because, like, you're reprimanded somehow for that. Like, you're reprimanding yourself for expressing emotion as a guy. So I think my goal or my purpose that I'm realizing being put here is two things. One, for the people out there that are just like me, if you've dealt with some hard enough traumas and pains, you're probably don't have much. There's not much that can make you laugh. Like, there's not much that can make you laugh. I'm not here to entertain the people who don't find this here funny, because there's people like me who don't find most things funny in society, but I find this stuff funny. Because for those that dealt with a worse childhood, we have a much higher threshold of humor. So it takes a lot more to make us laugh. There are some of y'all who are fans of, like, like, I don't know, like your stereotypical average comedian. I'm not. I'll go to a comedy show and I'll probably laugh at like maybe one or two people, and it's usually the ones who are the worst, have the darkest humor. That's always funny to me. I like people like Bo Burnham. I like people like um, Russell Peters. He's really funny. I like people like Daniel Tosh. These people have made some pretty messed up jokes, but it's not for everybody. It's for people like me who can't find anything else to laugh at. EMTs, if you don't believe me, EMTs, and you can ask anybody that is a EMT, a police officer, a firefighter, somebody who is in the military, they'll like like ask them dealing with the stuff they deal with on a daily basis. You know, they have to deal with the worst moments of every human being's lives on a daily basis. They're getting paid to deal with the worst moments of people's lives. So 12 hours of their day is dealing with someone fell down the stairs and broke a leg, someone got shot, someone got robbed at gunpoint, you know, there's domestic dispute. That's what cops or fire burn down somebody's entire home and their puppy inside died. Firefighters, police officers, EMTs, that's what they deal with on a daily basis. Do you think they laugh at your stereotypically average comedian or your stereotypically politically correct humor? They don't. They don't. I know because I don't. I don't. It's not funny. You know, it's just not. And I can't help that now. It's not my I can't control my sense of humor, you know? But I know that I laugh at it and I know there's other people that find it funny. That does not mean that we're racist, but that is a whole different topic. Just because we laugh at a joke that's pretty messed up, you know, that does not mean X, Y, and Z. There are some people it means that for, but for the majority, that is not what that means. So anyway, number one, my purpose is for those people. My content makes those people laugh, and it gets them through the day. I've gotten so many messages from fans saying, you know, I went through this. I was beat every day by my father, who was a drunk, and my mother, you know, who had like bipolar disorder. I can't remember the situation, but they had some really messed up childhoods, and they had to live 18 years of that, and they couldn't get out. They had to deal with it, and the only thing that would make them laugh was my content, and I was their hero for that. You know, like why should kids have to live in that kind of situation? And what are we doing to deal with that? We're not doing much, or not. We're not doing enough because there's children out there living in these situations right now and can't do anything about it. We're not doing enough to help each other out. Thus, our children of the next generation have to pay. You know, they have to live in these situations. And the only thing keeping them living another day is content like mine or stuff that makes them laugh, stuff that makes them feel something positive, you know, like an energy that comes out, you know, and that desire for that energy makes them go forward for another day. As messed up as it sounds, but that's what my content is here for. Number two, my other purpose is despite all of this, despite all of this, my I think the universe is wanting me to let you all know that it is completely okay to express your feelings. It is completely okay, guys, especially. I know my main audience, my number one audience is mostly men, but it is okay to express your humor. Completely, perfectly fine. Did I say express your humor? I meant express your feelings. It is completely okay to express your feelings. Like, be transparent. Like, that's what part of being a man is. It's not about, you know, being macho or hiding feelings or putting it to the side. You know, like solving problems, yes, like we can solve problems, but we can express our feelings and solve problems too. You know, like it is completely okay to express feelings. And you can express it in a mature way. Now, I'm not telling you to cry. You know, like obviously crying is no problem, but I'm not telling you to cry. I'm saying express how you feel. If you feel some kind of way, express it. You know, like, okay, that bothered me a little bit, but this, express every feeling, express every micro feeling of that feeling. If it was funny, but it also offended you, say, you know, oh yeah, that offended me, but it made me laugh at the same time. Like, express all the feelings, you know, let it all out, you know, and I think I want to remind you guys of that because, you know, with this platform, like I have other causes than just making you, or purposes than just making you guys laugh. It's also reminding you that you're human and it's okay to be human. It's completely okay to be human. We all go through ebbs and flows. There's not a single person on this earth. You know, I don't care how much money they have. There's not a single person on this earth that doesn't go through ups and downs. And no matter what our status is, it all feels the same when we're at our worst. It all feels the same. So And obviously what's triggering this message is, I am at my worst lately, so this is me being transparent with you guys, opening up. This is one of those moments where I've been at my worst. I've had maybe, I'll say, three of these moments this year. This is my third. Um, but, I want to normalize people being okay with expressing that they're not okay. And that's what I want to do. I am going to make a song or a musical piece somehow that encourages people to do more of this. I promise you that, because I sincerely, divinely feel in my heart that I was also put here to get people to who come from our walk of life, who come from all this pain and trauma, to open up, to open up to the next person, regardless of what you fear. Behind us hiding these emotions, there's a fear, guys, right? Whenever you want to express an emotion or you feel an emotion and you hide it or you put it behind humor, there's a fear. There's a fear of the consequences of expressing this emotion. How will I appear to the other person? That's not what being a man is about. That's not what being a person who is courageous and fearless, a real human being, is about. You're going to block so many of your blessings by bottling it up, by hiding it inside, you know? And I don't want to be that person. I've been that person. I don't want to be that person anymore. And it's not going to be something that changes overnight. It's not going to be something that's going to be easy. But, from this day forward, I'm not going to be a person who just hides feelings. If I'm expressing the passive aggressive feeling, I'm going to express the humorous feeling as well. If I'm expressing the passive aggressive feeling, I'm going to express the transparent feeling as well. And that's the example I want to set for anybody who watches my content, because we need it more than anybody. I know if you watch my content, you spend a lot of your time, like you might have some friends and stuff like that you spend time with from time to time, but then you have those moments of the year where you feel lonely as hell. You're super lonely, and it could be lonely for the stupidest reason. You being the only person like you being this and etc. Like, you feel lonely, it'll come out of nowhere. It'll come out of nowhere. So it's important, very important, to be transparent, because ultimately we're all a human race. We're all one collective. We're all interconnected with each other. And we've been trained by society to block our own blessings, to try to seek that reward from something else like money, to seek it from something else like status, to seek it from something else like clout. That's what we are trained by society to do. But we're not about to fall into that trap. That's what Brick Wall is about. We're not about falling into that trap. So I guess the moral of the day is, you have a feeling you're bottling up inside. You probably have one or two. I sound like a preacher right now. Let me open up the doors of the church in this. But you're definitely bottling up a feeling or two right now. From somebody, from some people. You're probably not being transparent about something because you're afraid of the consequences, emotional consequences. It's not even physical consequences, but you're afraid. And so if you're trying to grow on this journey with me, this is going to be the scariest thing. Like, pull out your phone, send a text message right now to someone you're not being transparent to. Or, you can call them, but that would require you to get off the live. But I want some of y'all to do this while you're on the live. Send a text message to somebody. Express a feeling. You don't have to come up with a solution. You don't have to say, I'm expecting this from, etc. And express feelings. Don't say, when, this was not cool or this was not that. Don't say something was not cool. Don't say something was really good or blah, blah, blah. Express how it made you feel. Feelings are like happiness. Feelings are like sadness. Feelings are like not feeling good enough. Feelings are like, stuff like that. Talk about how you feel and just see what happens. Like, do that with me. I'm going to send one when I get off the live, but send a text message right now to somebody. And I do want the people who do this to comment below the response they got from the person and what happened afterward. This is an experiment, a research project for me as well. I will put in the comments also. I actually have a few text messages to send and a few conversations to have. But I'm also going to put in a description, what happened as a result. How do I feel, as a human being? Like, we're all in this together, um, And yeah, let's grow out of this mindset that old society has programmed into us, and let's step into the new society where we're all in this together. Like all this, like social media is not putting the right mindset in our minds. A lot of y'all also remember that day that Facebook went down. Y'all probably felt extremely happy that one day. Like y'all like, oh, Facebook's down for like 2 days or a day and a half. But y'all felt extremely happy. Why is that? Because social media, news, media is capitalizing on those emotions that make us feel worse. And the algorithms are making us feel even more worse by programming negative feelings into our reality. And all we do as a response because of our childhood traumas is shelter more. We hide it more. So, like a lot of us need to just, I'm not saying turn off social media per se. I did for a brief period of time, and it definitely made some tremendous differences on my mental health. But definitely need to unfollow some pages, actively, or make a whole new social media account and only follow the things that give you information and positivity. And then I promise you, or just cut off social media altogether and just focus on human life, like tremendous difference. But anyway, that's getting off the subject. Getting back to the main point of the story, we need to express more feelings. We need to, as men, we need to be more transparent that we feel things. And we need to look out for our brothers. If there are times we look at our brothers and we look them in the face and we know they're not okay and we don't say anything. We're like, they'll get through it. Or if they want to say something about it, they'll say something. Instead of just actually asking them, yo, are you okay? Shout out to, sorry, that was probably disgusting to a lot of y'all. Shout out to my business partner, Dap, for asking me yesterday if I was okay. And I know as a guy, that probably wasn't even hard. I mean, that wasn't even easy for him to do because we're trained so much to not look after, we're trained so much to bottle up feelings and to minimize things. Guys, we need to stop doing that. And we need to stop minimizing other people's feelings as well. When other people feel things, just because, like, we need to at least try to be compassionate and sympathize. Like, just try. And we can do that because we're men. We can do that because we're strong. That's what real strength is about. Where's our emotional strength? Where's our stride toward emotional intelligence? We can't live our entire lives not being emotionally connected to the next person. So, with that being said, we need to express more. We do. And ultimately, getting back to the main thing for those of you who are coming late and that didn't hear my whole rant about the reason I make content the way I do and why there's certain people that need that level of humor just to get through to the next day, then I suggest that you go back to the video, watch it again, and take something from this. With that being said, I don't think I have much more to add to this video. If I missed your comments, it's because I wasn't looking at my phone. I was looking straight ahead, making sure there were no cars going to hit me. But I'm going to read the comments and I'm going to respond to every last one of them. And if you stuck through this whole video and watched this thing all the way through, thank you. More transparency and opening up the hearts, more growth from us coming soon. And yeah, be looking out for the Democrat song. All right, I'm signing out. Peace.